Welcome to the Common Ground podcast, where stories connect, perspectives collide, and purpose is found in the middle.
Every week, we sit down with unique and inspiring guests that come from all walks of life. People who challenge the status quo, overcome the odds, and live with intentionality.
Whether you're driving to work, on your morning walk, or just looking for that spark to ignite your week, you're in the right place.
Welcome to the Common Ground podcast with your hosts, John Fletcher and Sydney.
Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Give me 1 second. You want to say hello to everybody?
Hi. Oh boy. All right. Share away. Are you messaging our guest?
No, I'm messaging you real quick.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. All right.
So welcome everybody to another edition of the Monday Happy Hour. Yes, we are live. We are so excited to be. I'm excited about today. I think today is going to be so awesome with the content that we're producing. It is very viewer engaged, so please make sure that you are either on Facebook, Sydney Nicole's Facebook, on the YouTube page, the Common Ground Project USA, or on LinkedIn, so that we can see your comments live, so that you can participate live, so that you can be part of the discussion live. Because today we will be talking about dating and marriage. So I think this is going to be an absolutely fun time. I think it's going to be an opportunity for a lot of people to give a lot of opinions. So
Braden.
Share it. Hey Braden, how you doing? Share this live. Get ready to participate. We do have a guest scheduled for today. I did get told they may be late, so hopefully they will show up. But we are going to go on as planned. I think we have a cool game today. This game's going to be very interactive. So I'm excited. But how was everybody's Easter? Everybody have a good Easter if you celebrated it. Hopefully good food. You were safe. You enjoyed the holidays.
When all you eat is pasta.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Dude, I had ham, I had mashed potatoes, I had corn, I had pasta? No pasta.
No pasta?
Well, I did have some macaroni and cheese last night when I got home, around like 12 o'clock, because I was a little hungry.
That's late.
That's all I can be here for. Hard making deals, changing everything about my life with it.
What do you mean? Making deals?
Yeah.
Everybody jokes that I cook to feed a small army in this house.
I actually can cook. But I don't cook a lot because cooking for one person sucks. But I can cook. I mean, and I can even cook stuff I don't like, and it'd be good. I just won't eat it. But
if it's good, why won't you eat it?
Because I don't like it. But the other people who
how do you know
it like it? Then? Well, they say they like it.
What if they're trying to not hurt your feelings?
Well, then that's crappy on them, because then they're going to get fed the same thing over and over again and not be liking something that they're eating.
Valid.
But let's get into this game. So our guest, who may show up late or show up, is Marquis Williams, and he is part of the You Stuck With Me podcast. And so, as you know, all the games that I create, everything that I do is based upon guest. And so this game is called the Post-it game. And I took the Post-it game because you stuck with me, you know? Like kind of like you're a Post-it, you're stuck with me. So that's the concept of where the game came from. Let me share my screen. Share screen. Oh, let me do it this way first. If I make this a separate thing, sometimes it works better. Share screen. Share. And give me 1 second.
Calling about your car's extended warranty.
All right, and at this stage, let me do this way. Okay, now I can see it there. Will let me. No, I think I still have to have it this way so that I can turn the pages. Work, but
Tell them what the game's about.
so basically, it is like red flag, green flag for dating things and things in marriage.
For
Which
our
I think
Gen Zers and millennials, what is a red flag in dating? Like, just define it. You don't have to give me one.
me,
Yeah.
or are you asking them to?
No, I'm asking you.
So a red flag is something that should cause you to, if you're dating, it should cause you to question whether this is a good partner or not.
What's a green flag?
A green flag means that this is a very good partner to be with. You know, is it green go, red stop? You know, it's kind of.
What if you're colorblind?
You still, it's not about color. You're not seeing colors. So, so yeah, so it's about red flag, green flag. So basically the Post-it is green Post-it, yellow green Post-it, red Post-it. I guess you could have yellow Post-it as a cautionary. You know, maybe it's not totally green, maybe it's totally red. I just thought of that. But so in the comment section, as I pull up each of these things, I want you to comment: is that a green Post-it or a green flag, or is it a red flag or a red Post-it? You know, and we could even go to yellow. I'm not going to.
You're not going to be extremist.
I'm not going to be extremist. There are 5 sections. These are the things are divided into 5 things. So, like the first section is digital. All these things have to do with digital and social media.
Got it.
Okay, so they're going to be kind of in a thing. So the first one is, and we'll pull it up, is posting your partner on your main grid, not just your close friend story.
Is main grid like a profile picture, or is that like the pinned photos? What does that mean?
The main grid would be so everybody can see it. Like your close friends only your close friends see this. Where your main grid is everybody can see it. So would this be a green Post-it or would it be a red Post-it? Like,
I'm gonna go yellow.
You're gonna go yellow.
I'm yellow. Okay.
And Sarah and Heath, why do you say green? Since she's saying yellow, I want to get this conversation flowing.
Where's Braden? We need Braden's opinion on this.
So to me, yeah, you said yellow. I would also say green.
Yellow.
I would say green Post-it. But so I'm really intrigued to see why yours is yellow. If I'm out and open on their page, I find it to be transparent. So green. Okay. And I guess that's more of my thing. It's like if they're important to me, I'm not hiding them from anybody. You know, like there's no reason for me to not let somebody know that they're in my life. Yellow makes sense depending on what your social media is used for. If it is solely a personal account, it is green.
I can second that. I said yellow because I work with politicians and people that have a really big presence and they don't want their family members to be like on public face on social media. So if it was a personal account, then yeah, I would, that would make sense as more of a green flag to me. But I've also been in relationships in the past where I was like forced to post about my relationship because they were insecure about our relationship. So I wasn't actually willingly posting. And so I say yellow just because of all of the variables that I'm seeing in my lived experience.
Yeah, I can get that. I can get that.
Now, if it's willingly on a personal page, green.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like, I don't think anybody should ever be forced. But why did, well, can I ask this question? Why did it get to a point of him having to force what was preventing you from doing it?
He knew that I was gonna leave him, that I was considering leaving him, and so he
Okay.
was at like he wanted me all over it, and I didn't want to be posting it because I was looking for how I wanted to walk away from the relationship, but he was really abusive to me too, so
Okay. No, that makes,
I think that was his way of like, well, maybe if she posts me, then as if you can't just go turn around and delete it. But that made it real. That solidified it in his mind.
so were you on his way before that, or were you on his at that point as him trying to say, like,
He had always had me on his.
okay. And he never had an issue of you before not having you on.
Well, he was on mine for a while, and then I had deleted it.
Okay.
And
See, there we go. The
it wasn't
deleting.
like a main grid though. Yeah, I did because I was trying to leave it, and so then he wanted it back on. So
Okay. Yeah. No, that there's I can definitely understand that. So, all right. So the next one is still having your dating apps just to look at the notifications.
that's funny. Are we swingers or are we like are we monogamous? Because if we're monogamous, this is red.
There are a lot of people who will, yeah, to me it's, yeah, I'm red too, but
Red. I wish I had little flags to wave.
but there are some people who definitely have well, may not be in the open, but I know will still have dating apps on when they're starting a relationship, and they will. So there's a funny story. Do I want to get this personal?
Let's
this
do
much?
it. It's Monday
Let's do
happy
it.
hour.
It's Monday happy hour.
Spill the tea.
So
Yeah.
I had separated from my ex, and there was a point where we started talking to get back with each other. And one of the conversations and one of the things that finally cemented the no was, I was like, okay, if we start talking, then I'm the only person you're talking to, you know? I'm not competing with anybody. I'm not competing with dating apps. And she's like, nah, like until we get to a point, I'm open to other possibilities.
Okay.
I'm like, well, technically you're still married to me, so you shouldn't be open to other possibilities. And she was like, nah, we have to rebuild trust and we're starting over from scratch, and I'm not doing it until we're exclusively dating again. And I was like, okay, I got my answer.
Okay.
I got my answer, and I walked out the door.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Okay.
dude, I'm technically married to you, and I'm going to be competing with other people? Yeah. That ain't happening.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So definitely a red flag to me.
Hey, Ryan. Ryan. Darn it. My daughter's dad is here. I was going to get him in on this game because he likes talking shit about me.
He can't hear you, huh?
Yeah, I don't know where he is.
All right, let's
He's
go
probably
to
playing with the kids. He's probably doing his job because I'm paying him to watch the kids this week.
He's probably enjoying every moment of it too.
He is.
Having an open phone policy where both feel zero need to actually check.
I don't know. I guess I'm going to say green out of... But I almost said yellow, just for the record.
And for me, it would definitely be green. Green. Again, I would like to hear where your yellow part comes into it. I'm sure there's a logical part to it.
You know there's a logical part to it? Is that what you said?
I said I'm sure there's probably a logical part to it that I haven't thought of, but...
That you haven't thought of? I think when you're in a committed relationship that having the open phone policy is a good thing. I feel like when it gets abused, that's where, and it specifically says in here, both feel zero need to actually check, which is why I said, okay, I'm going to say green. But the open phone policy in and of itself is a gray area for me. Like, I don't mind if somebody has my phone password, but I don't want them to have it because they're waiting for the opportunity to like go find something to piss them off. Here's the thing. I could find anything to piss me off if I really wanted to be mad about something. So like having a phone password, especially being a public figure, like anybody could get pissed off at anything on my phone. Not because anything inappropriate is happening, but because I have people all day, every day that are messaging me about whether it's work or saying that they liked a photo or blah, 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 blah. And I appreciate it and I'm kind and it never crosses any of those lines. But like, I don't know, like it just bothers me when it feels like it's something that becomes a position of power.
So, but that goes back to trust, right?
Right, which is why I changed it to green because you said actually zero need to check. So that's why I switched it.
Right, like to me, as soon as it's not like I have no problem with it.
Sarah's got me.
No. I have no problem with somebody going through my phone, and yeah, like it all like if you're looking that deep at something to like, oh, why did this person like your photo? Then that to me that just speaks that there was a trust issue to begin with, because yeah, like I've been talking to this girl for 2-3 years, and I remember we were like, she would tell me about guys who talked to her at work, and I remember I said something to her like, and the guy goes, "Oh, do you tell your man about me, right?" She goes, "Yeah." He goes, he's not jealous or worried about me stealing you?" And she goes, "No." I go, and I turn to her and go, "Yeah, you got a good thing, and I know you're not going to lose it." Right? And she looked at me, laughed. She's like, "That's why, that's." She's like, I love that answer. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, dude, what do I have to like, do I really need to worry about? If somebody wants to leave me, they're going to leave me.
Right.
You know, you don't have to go hiding it. You know, like that's what I don't get about people. Like, oh, I'm going to go hide about it. No, if you're going to leave, you're going to leave. It's
right. Just go.
Just go. Like, so. So this is the opposite, right? Hiding your phone screen or turning it face down every time you leave the room.
Is it near their birthday or Christmas? Because, like, don't look at my Amazon shopping list if it's near a holiday where I get to buy things for you.
Well, that's where I was going to go. Like, I thought maybe you were going to go on the last one, right?
Red.
No, I thought you were going to
flag.
say, oh, the only reason why I wouldn't want my password is what if I'm
Not close
planning
to a
something,
holiday.
like what if I'm planning some surprise party or something? I don't want them just necessarily going into my phone.
Sure.
But yeah, like it's like again, like if you feel like you have to hide something from me, then what's that saying about you, right?
My high school boyfriend was cheating on me, and he like I had found out, but I hadn't like told him yet because I hadn't had the opportunity to talk to him about it. And at his sister's wedding, he was texting the chick that he was cheating on me with. And he like had turned his phone screen, and I was like, "You know what? I'll let you be alone with, and I said her name. And he like jaw dropped, and then I had some other dude pick me up from his sister's wedding, made like a whole ordeal out of grabbing my stuff out of his Jeep and deuced.
Yeah, like yeah. So the next one is sending just thinking of you memes throughout the workday.
Green.
Can I go yellow?
As long as they're not corny. I really hate corny things. I want to know why that's yellow for you of all things.
Well, the only thing that would go, oh, wow, I'm surprised more people are yellow. I want to know why they're yellow. For me, it's like
I do too. I'm confused. Am I confused?
No, it is green, but if it's every 20 minutes, then that's yellow.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. The duration of time needs to be specified. Sarah, I need to know why you said yellow though, because I feel like the girl logic. And we've got a greenish yellow too. We need answers to all of these things.
Yeah, because mine is just like, if you're blowing up my phone all day at work, that's not cool.
I'm going to start sending you memes every hour on the hour.
Actually, I'm surprised we don't have a separate chat just for memes going back and forth about certain stuff.
Love bombing. Okay, that's fair.
Quality over persistence.
I like that.
See? Right. Good stuff, people. Good stuff.
Take it easy. Unless I reciprocate. If we're love bombing both ways, then it's okay. But don't just love bomb me.
Yes. And the last one in this first section, liking your ex's thirst traps just to be supportive.
I'm petty in this regard. Like, if you're friends with an ex, I'm not going to date you. Like, your options are she goes or this is not a thing. Like, I don't do that. That's a hard no for me.
That is so.
I'm not into it. Yeah, same. Like, no.
So this isn't on the green or red post-it.
Can ex be friends? No.
Well, not just an ex. Can you have a best friend that's the opposite sex?
Best friend? No. Friends? Sure. Usually in a couple setting, though. Best friend of the opposite sex, specifically that's single? No. Friends of the opposite sex, specifically if, like, say that they're in a relationship and it's more in a couples dynamic, 100%.
So what if they've been best friends for years, though, and never been a couple?
Oh, I almost said something that I should not have said. I'm really glad I caught myself there. Good job, Sydney. No. The answer is no. I have a very relevant example. I'm just absolutely not going to say it out loud.
So, yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. So,
I do not know anybody that has been friends with someone for years and exclusively platonic. Like, at no point in time had any romantic feelings towards the other person whatsoever.
I don't know. I know the one person in my life, and we're in that gray area. But I wouldn't want to lose her as a friend, period.
Well, yeah, I get that.
And I mean, almost like best friend, because like she supports me more than anybody else has ever supported me. You know?
And you haven't married her because?
What?
I said what I said.
What did you say?
I said, did Sarah hear me? I said, and you haven't married her because?
There's been various reasons right now, but we're working on stuff.
So I rest my case. Thank you for concluding that argument for me.
But even if it wouldn't go that direction, I still wouldn't want, you know.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you didn't have feelings for her. So your question was, can they be friends? Like, yeah, sure, but does it mean that it would be conducive or healthy to a different long-term relationship that you're in when you constantly have these underlying feelings for this other person? No.
I'm just gonna leave it there. So
I'm really hard to argue with. It's okay.
But if the chance of romance is there, then friends aren't good for another relationship.
Not unless you guys are both married and have like mutually decided that that's a dead issue and other spouses are okay with it. And even then, I'd say that it's a really gray line. So I was really good friends with this guy that I met when I was 12 years old, and I met him on a family vacation. I literally only saw him the one time. We were pen pals, almost my whole childhood, pretty much. He went into the Marines, and then he later went on to get married. But like, I kid you not when I say that we would talk at least once a month on the phone. He'd just call me, tell me what he was doing, like if he was deployed, whatever. Super neat guy, like love him to death. There was never anything that happened because he lived in a different state. But he ended up later on getting married, and then he called me one day, fast forward years down the line, and his wife was making him unfriend me because he had admitted that at one point in time or another he had feelings for me. And so she therefore then decided that she wasn't okay with, don't interrupt, just 1 second, wasn't okay with that relationship. And so he just decided to respect his wife and remove me from everything, and there hasn't been a word about it since.
Can I say hi?
She just did.
Say hello.
Hi. Easter Bunny gave me a new water bottle.
Awesome. You are so lucky.
The coolest.
You must have been such a good girl to get the Easter Bunny to get you.
He also came in my room.
He came in your room?
Yeah.
Ooh. You are very special then.
Boy. All right, Mom's in a meeting right now, so you got to go play, okay?
Okay.
Love you.
Hey, Mommy.
Yes, daughter.
I thought I could sit in your lap if you want.
No, ma'am, not this time. Go get Daddy, please.
Okay.
Love you. Thank you. Sarah says hi. Say hi, Sarah.
Okay.
Oh, she comes back for it. Say hi, Sarah.
Of course.
That was my fault. All right, go on, sweet pea.
Okay, so that brings us to our second section, communication and growth. So the next one is saying I need 10 minutes to cool down before we talk about this.
Green. The greenest of green. You know what's a red flag? When somebody fucking ignores when you say that. Is that the next one?
No.
That shit pisses me off so much.
Yes, I think we're all in
green.
I think we're all on the same page.
The time frame offered. I love this. Another super big green flag that I think is way underplayed is when somebody needs to talk about something serious in the relationship and schedules a sit down with their partner to talk about it. Like, hey, I need to talk to you about, and then you can like give the bullet points, these things. Can we do that tonight after dinner or whatever? Like, preparing them mentally without leaving room for ambiguity or allowing the partner to go into panic mode because they're over analyzing all the things that could need to be talked about. Like, I need to talk to you about this, this, and this. And I'm going to we're going to get a bottle of wine and I'm going to have it ready to sit down and talk about this. I'm going to have some notes, feel free to write down anything that you want to contribute. 2 wine glasses, notepads, kids asleep, boom.
Yeah. No, I
single.
And I love the fact that you want, and it's about this, this, and this. Although, if somebody's really going to be concerned, they're still going to be concerned. Well, what about this?
Well,
what
that's
about this?
true,
What
but
about
that's
that?
a reflection of your partner, and I would argue that that's a little bit of a red flag. Now, if you've said, I need to talk to you, we're going to do it tonight at 8, and you don't give them anything, now I can understand partner panicking a little bit. What's going on? But when you say, hey, I need to talk to you about some gaps in our communication, this pertaining to our finances and our work schedule. I've got enough of an idea now that I'm not going to pester you about it. We're going to talk about it tonight at 8, and I get a bottle of wine. Sold.
As long as you didn't add the 4th one as that tape that I found underneath your mattress.
Next. Silent treatment.
The silent treatment as form of punishment.
Red.
Red wine.
Let me say something though on this. I'm going to borderline, I'm going to say reddish yellow here, not because the silent treatment as a form of punishment is a good thing, but the silent treatment over somebody that has proven to be volatile and yelling or abusive, it is abusive. I'm with Sarah on this. The silent treatment as a form of punishment is a bad thing. But if it's between the silent treatment while somebody processes or somebody that's yelling and abusive and won't let you leave and doesn't know how to allow for space, I would take the silent treatment over that. So
our guest is here. Let me bring in our guest first. But I want to get into this because there's something I do want to talk about this. So
okay, sounds good.
Hey, Marquis.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
We are doing fantastic. Glad that you can
join us. We're playing a really
us.
fun game right now, and we featured it because of you. It's called the Post-it game. And
Okay.
John made a list of things that we're discussing if they're red flags or green flags in a relationship. And we have yellow flags too.
Okay.
And then we're asking our audience why.
Okay.
And so it was called the Post-it game because your podcast is called You Stuck With Me. So I thought of a Post-it being stuck on something.
Creative.
So that's hence where the game title, the Post-it game, came up with its. So at first we did digital and social media, and now we're doing communication and something. I forget what it is, but we're going through a series of things, and we're saying, are they green flags, red flags, yellow flags, or green Post-it notes, yellow Post-it notes, red? And so the silent treatment as a form of punishment, we were asking, is that a green note, yellow note, or red note? And most people said red flag. And Sydney was saying red, but she would take as long as it's not abusive, if it's more of our time of reflecting instead of being abusive. But that wouldn't be a punishment. That would be more reflective time.
I think that I was just saying, when you're talking about people that are shutting down versus how they're aggressive when they're processing something, I think that both are red flags, but I would still take the silent treatment over somebody that's emotionally volatile in those situations. So yeah, we tangented a little bit because that wasn't the original question, but.
Yeah, but I like what part of what you said, and the thing was form of punishment. So anything that's a punishment should be a red flag to me.
Sure.
But there are some people who I think would write stuff out more than talk because some people feel like they communicate better writing than they do speaking. They can't get their thoughts together.
Yeah.
So I think that's also something to consider.
Sure.
Well, I think that the silent treatment can be either yellow or red based on what you guys just said. So, I mean, as long as they're not being abusive and then just being passive aggressive, I can see it being a yellow or a red, but never a green. Trying to use the silent treatment as punishment is not a good thing. I mean, they're your significant other, not your child. So
Agreed.
Agreed. And yeah, Sarah's like, I do better when I write. Yes. Heath is that is on the spouse to know that writing is better for the other. 100% agree. You should know your spouse. You should know, you know. But a lot of times when you're arguing, you don't care about your spouse. So you actually, and some people will try to use it as an upper hand because they know that you're not as good speaking and they can come at you and feel like they can win a fight.
That's your trauma speaking. I'm going to call you out on that right there.
100%. I agree.
yeah. Also, I think that if they know that you're not the strongest in terms of speaking during the argument, I would consider that fighting below the belt.
Agreed.
I would
Which,
agree.
yeah, which in a relationship, no matter how angry you are, you should never do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the next one is admitting I was wrong without adding a but at the end.
Mm.
Green.
Absolutely agree. But
I
it's very
almost
hard to
said
do.
yellow. I almost said what Sarah said. I'm curious to see what she has to say about it.
I say it could be a green and a yellow.
Okay.
And the reason why I say it's a yellow because it's something me personally I'm working on. Admit I was wrong, but using a but or something to you know try to keep making my point across.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I would say green.
Psychology trick of the day that turns this entirely into a green flag without any room for debate. Because, Sarah, if you're going to also argue about the but clause or comment on the but clause, this is basic psychology. I teach every single one of my employees this trick. People very commonly use but as a conjunction. It's a negative conjunction. But and mean the same thing, but one is affirmative and one is negative. So if you say, I was wrong, and I would like to talk to you about a couple things pertaining to XYZ, you have just put yourself in a position where you're not subtracting from your apology. The reason that but is an issue is because you are subtracting from the principle of your ownership or however you were wrong in an argument by saying that one word. So, John, I was wrong for missing that one podcast, but really I had all of these things going on and blah, 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 blah. That's what goes wrong in apologies. John, I was wrong for missing that podcast, and I want to talk to you about these scheduling issues. Is there any chance we could hop on a phone call so we can talk about that? I own that, and I gave you an affirmative, like, hey, this needs to be addressed so that this behavior doesn't continue.
Yeah, I like that because it shows that you're willing, you're taking accountability, one, and two, you're trying to work towards a solution so the issue doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, but and you can remember it by but and hand. So
maybe don't remember it that way. You're so funny.
So next time you want to give your partner a tap on the butt, just remember but and and.
Got it. Next.
Bringing a mistake from 3 years ago during a fresh argument.
Jesus, there is nothing that irritates me more.
That's an instant red flag.
I want my red flag to wave.
Because that can mean multiple things. One, if you're bringing it up from 3 years ago, that means you never got over the issue in the first place. And second of all, you're just saying something just to say something now because you feel like it's the appropriate time, and add in on to whatever the original issue is.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I don't know if this one's up for debate.
Even if I could try to make it a green, it would start with major issues to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely red. Asking, do you want me to listen or help you solve it?
Green.
Green.
My phrase for this is, do you want me to get in the mud puddle with you or get you out of the mud puddle?
And I think this is more for men than women, because I think men will automatically try to solve the issue. I think men need to start asking this question. Do you want me to listen, or do you want me to solve it? Because I think my instinct is going to be to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally like this question because my wife and I, we've actually worked on it. Because she would tell me something, and I would think that I would always have to solve it. And then we had a conversation. She told me, sometimes I don't need you to try to solve it. I just need someone to vent to. So now when she comes to me about something, I'm asking a question: do you want me to solve it, or do you want me to vent, or do you just want to vent?
Yes.
And I think that's made our communication skills better because we have a better understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this I think gets a men in a lot of trouble, because I think a lot of times they just go to hero mode, right? I'm going to solve the issue.
And not every time your significant other needs a hero.
What I picture is Rosie Perez when I think about this. In what movie? Pop quiz. What movie, Rosie Perez, does this issue deal with right away?
First one that comes to mind to me is actually White Man Can't Jump.
White Man Can't Jump. I am thirsty. Oh, I go get you a glass of water. I don't want a glass of water. Oh, when I say that I am thirsty, it means I would like, if you would have some water, I would like some water, please. White Man, I love that scene. I want you to empathize with me. Tell me you are thirsty too.
And is this all from the same magazine? His exact words.
Yes, yes. If you have not seen White Man Can't Jump, you got to one of the classic movies.
Yeah, because
love that movie.
Both of them are hilarious. Rosie Perez was good too.
Rosie Perez is awesome. Food with the letter Q. All right, the last one in this section is kitchen sinking, throwing every single frustration into one conversation.
That's a good one. I would say it could be yellow.
I'm going with yellow.
And the reason why I say it could be yellow is because it has the opportunity to open up dialogue that needs to be had, but also it can be borderline red because it's like I said previously, now you choose to say something when you should have said something in the beginning. So I mean, if you want to be technical, it could be all three.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that the reason that I lean towards red and yellow is because I have witnessed in a lot of relationships that where they didn't deal with things early on, it becomes like a form of enmeshment trauma where all of the things are now woven together. So they're not separate entities. And it makes it really hard to have a constructive conversation where you can outline the details of what the problem actually is without giving a series of examples. And to a defensive partner, that might feel like the kitchen sinking thing, but it doesn't directly mean that that is what the other partner is attempting to do necessarily. Now, if we're intentionally kitchen sinking, then I'd say red flag. But if we're just talking about people that are less effective at communicating or enmeshment trauma in some sort of form, then I would lean yellow.
But there's, and this is something that sometimes I suffer from. I will make excuses for people, and then stuff continually happens, and then I have to deal with it. But I should have dealt with it at first. And so that's the red flag. The red flag is that, I should have dealt with it. I should have told you initially that something bothered me. But I held off. And now, you breaking a glass really is, I'm upset about this thing that happened 3 weeks ago. But because I didn't deal with it 3 weeks ago, it's manifested into the breaking of the glass.
Does duration of time inherently mean that you did less effective at dealing with something? Or does that just mean that it then became relevant again? Because I think that what it really is how the conversation is approached significantly more so than the duration of time between events.
If I'm making excuses and avoiding it, then it's on me. If it's
Sure. What if
it's
it wasn't relevant?
I would say if it wasn't relevant, then it'd definitely be more of a red situation. But because it was relevant, it could have been more of a yellow-green situation. So you could, in a way, you can knock out two birds with one stone.
Well, and when I say it wasn't relevant, I mean wasn't relevant like it didn't need to be brought back up. For example, like this whole concept of giving grace in a relationship means that every time that you do something that irritates me, I don't have to make a big deal out of all of it. So maybe I let it go 3 weeks ago because that's just what you do in healthy relationships is you don't nitpick everything that your partner does. You're like, okay, whatever, he did it again. I'm going to let it slide, but it gets to a point where it's becoming irritating. And now I am realizing that I need to bring it up because it's becoming something that I don't want to become contentious over.
So this is what I would say to you. I would say if that happens once, like the kitchen sinking, then fine. You were choosing your battles. You chose not to deal with this battle, but now this is a battle you have to choose. I can live with that. But if this is how you handle every situation, then it's a red flag.
I can get on board with that.
So, no, because I think there is a point where you choose your own battles, right? You choose, is this something I can live with? Is this something I want to fight with my spouse over or my dating partner over? Or is this something that really I need to deal with? Like
Sarah likes all of the points.
Like
all of the points are great.
Like, do I really want to fight over the fact that he left the toilet seat up again?
Right.
I mean, that's understandable. In marriage, you do have to pick your battles. And I agree with you. Not every single issue that you have is worth even bringing up. And sometimes you just have to not say anything to keep peace in the house.
Right.
But if we're to that point where I don't like that phrase keeping peace, because that means like that peace is not in the house to begin with. Like if you're having to keep the peace
on that, yeah.
It almost feels like it's already a war zone.
That's a good point. I never considered it that way.
I think I like the choosing your battles one because it's one of those things where if peace is in the house and it's something that just irritates you, you can choose if it's something that's a big enough deal to address it, or if it's just one of those things that's, like I said, irrelevant. Is this that big of a deal?
Right.
All right.
So
great.
So now comes the real hard one, finances and future. So being 100% transparent about your credit score and student debt. I would guess this would be probably pre-marriage. Like this would be, I would assume, getting serious enough for marriage. I don't think I would necessarily be 100 upfront about my credit score and with someone I'm just dating.
Yeah, this is a green flag.
Yeah, this is a green flag because
it could be a yellow or red flag if they're bringing it up on the first date, though.
I don't know too many people who would bring this up on the first date. I think this is usually a premarital question, like you said.
You would hope.
You would hope, yeah. It'd scare me if somebody was like, I want to know your credit score. If you're not above an 800, I'm not dating you.
Yeah,
there are some people out there that are like, I want your credit score, or I want to know how much debt before I invest
not
one
the
moment
first
of time.
date, but like I'm borderline that neurotic. Like I've got a high bar. Don't waste my time.
I think I've actually read a story about that, but if we're being serious in the dating space and we're going towards marriage, then yeah, I would ask that question because these are things that you got to know. And some people actually feel embarrassed because that when those questions come up and they're afraid to answer them, or they're like, I don't know, or something like that. I think that's when it becomes that's a red flag for that topic. But I think it's a green flag if you're just open, honest, and transparent, because you got to be able to trust the person that you're marrying to know how to deal with their finances. And even if they don't have any financial literacy, but you do, that's something that you could teach them. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not gonna come into a marriage, or nobody's gonna go into a marriage, um, for lack of better words, completely clean. And just being transparent, saying, "Hey, I have this, I have that. Is this something that bothers you?" And that's one of those important conversations that you need to have. And that's another thing we got to remember: marriage is a long, continuing conversation.
Yeah, and just because
Well said.
your finances aren't where they need to be doesn't mean that that should necessarily end a relationship. It may have to put the goal of marriage on hold until they get figured out. But but if that person's willing, like if somebody came up to me like, listen, I'm $50,000 in debt, you're gonna be out marrying me, okay. Well, we may not be getting married in like 3 years, but let's work on it. Let's get it down to a thing that I'm comfortable associating with and putting my name next to. But I'm not going to put my name next to maybe necessarily a $50,000 debt if or a bad credit score right off the bat. Give the
Right.
person time to work on it and fix it, and I think most people would be reasonable like that.
And also, even if they tell you that they have some debt, but they already started working on it, they already have a plan, I think that's a plus too.
Yeah.
Next.
Having a secret credit card the other person doesn't know about.
Red.
Honestly, I guess I would call that a yellow. The reason why I say yellow is because, on one hand, you have a secret credit card because you want to make sure that they don't know about it if they have any financial issues. But on the other hand, you always have it for emergency. And the reason why I say emergency is because uh, they might get into something and you're like, okay, I got this, so we're good.
I would say it would depend on the definition of secret. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
because like I'm fine if a couple comes together, they share their resources, maybe they have a joint bank account, and each person has a credit card that they know about, but they don't get to ask about. And basically, like we predetermine that so much of our joint money will go into each credit card for that person to have a basic account. What that lets them do is buy gifts for the other person without the other person knowing, to do surprises, to have something to feel safe and secure. I know for a lot of women, they're like, the man's, bringing in all the income. I can't leave because I don't have no financial stability. I want a woman always to know she has financial stability to walk away if she felt like. I don't want any woman ever feeling trapped in a relationship with me,
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it gives them a little bit of independence. It gives them a little discretionary spending. They want to go to the casino with their friends. They're not pulling it out of the joint account. They're pulling it out of their. So it depends on, like, secret in the fact that I don't know what you spend it on, but I know about the card.
That makes sense.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
I think that the gray line becomes like the credit ceiling because there's so many people that hide addictions or like spending problems. And I see that a lot, especially when I do financial budgets for couples that I sit down with. Like 10 out of 10 times, one of them always spends significantly more than the other. And sometimes the other partner doesn't even know about it because they've got like one joint account, but then they each have their own accounts. And it's like this huge disconnect. So I'm with Sarah. I think that like, it's one thing to feel the need to have your own money, and I don't want to condemn that by any means, but I also just get to a point in my head where if I feel so strongly that I need to have my own money to potentially escape this relationship, then I shouldn't be in it in the first place. The problem is you don't always know that, obviously, about the people that you're with, and I get that. So I guess my knee-jerk reaction would always be to have a cash reserve rather than a secret credit card, because that means that I'm actually using it for emergencies and it's not just something that I'm spending money on separately, and it creates more transparency in the relationship. But that's just me.
Yeah, and I know there's some people who don't have joint accounts. Some couples, like this person pays for the electricity, the utility bills, and one person pays for the mortgage. And that's how they work it all out. And then they agree to the bills that get paid, and everything else is theirs to keep.
Yep.
Well,
Different people, different ways of doing things.
and there's nothing wrong with that. Like my wife and I, we don't necessarily have a joint account, but what we have to learn to do is whoever has the money to pay something, pay it, and it works. It works very well.
As long as nobody's saying, keeping tabs and going, well, I paid the last 3 times, so you have to pay. If you have that trust, if you have that work where you're not keeping tabs on each other and it works fluently, then yeah, great.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we've learned about marriage. You do whatever works for you. So if
Yeah.
you got people who are on social media, we call it the loud minority, who's saying, "Oh, he should do this, she should do that." Whatever works for you to keep your house running. That's what I say.
The next one is sitting down monthly to do a money date and review the budget.
Yeah, I mean, green flag.
Green flag.
I think if you have to do it monthly, you're probably doing something wrong, but green flag in general.
Yeah, that's a definite green flag.
You said if you have to do it monthly, you're doing something wrong?
Yep.
So what would you I would think just money date would be doing that, but then going on a date afterwards or whatever. Like I think dates should happen definitely.
Dates should happen probably bi-weekly. I don't even think that should be a monthly thing. And it doesn't have to be like a go spend out and spend a bunch of money date. Like a date can be doing anything if it's somebody that you love, then like quite literally anything can be a date. But if you have to sit down and review your money every month, then you're doing it wrong.
But even if it was just like a 10-minute thing, like, okay, there's nothing came out of the, that surprised us, we're on track, cool. Even if it's just that.
Well, I mean, no, but then you're not really on a date if you're only had 10 minutes. Like, hey, nothing came out, and we did that, and that came in, and good, we're good to go, and high five, go team. Like now, it's not really a date.
See, I don't see an issue with that, but with us, we learn to turn just about anything into a date, so it wouldn't necessarily bother us. I mean, we go grocery shopping, a date. Stay at home playing checkers or chess, a date. Going to get ice cream, a date. Just sitting down and discussing future dreams, and we've turned that into a date. So I don't see nothing wrong with sitting down monthly, wanting to put money date together. But we've learned to have alternatives that we don't have to spend money.
Sarah says, Unquiet Healing says green flag too. All right, we got to plug through. Let's do some more.
Making large purchases over $200 without a quick heads up.
Why'd you choose $200?
It was just a binary number.
Okay.
Red flag.
That's a red flag. Oh, without the quick cut, yeah.
Yeah, that's a red flag, easily.
Okay, what should I have chosen? 100 seems a little bit too low.
No, I'm going red, yellow. By the way, I said yellow, but it's a little bit of both for me.
So, what would your baseline be? You up to this amount of money. We don't have to check in with each other, but if we're going to spend,
I'm gonna be honest. I would say 150.
150. You're going down a little bit.
Yeah, I know it's not a wide margin, but knowing where we live and the way that things cost in Chicago, yeah, 150.
All right. Why is it a red flag though? Tell us.
Because if your partner doesn't know about it and you do something and then trying to pay a bill or something and looking like, why don't we have any money? Like, well, I did this, and now you started an argument, and it's like, why you didn't tell me? Why did you just do this frivolously?
I have a totally like non. This is a question just based on the last one we discussed, or I guess 2 questions ago. You said that you guys have a system where whoever has the money just pays the bills. So if the person just has the money and knows that there are no bills due, what's wrong with them spending $150 or $200 without the heads up if they're equally responsible to just pay the bill?
You know, that's a good question.
I totally like not just like that was the first thing that came to my head. Now I totally get it if it's like, hey, this is how we divide things. This is your budget for spending. This is my budget for spending, or if it's our budget for spending. But like I always had like, this is how much money we can spend out to eat. It doesn't mean it has to be together. Like if somebody's got to go get fast food because they forgot to pack a lunch or whatever, just comes out of the family budget. It doesn't matter. But like, I don't care if that dollar amount is $500 necessarily, as long as it's within the budget that we set. And then if I have to go back and look and be like, hey, we're over $150 of the budget, now we have to talk about where did we go over? How could that communication have been better? But I don't necessarily care about the purchase itself.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. So, I'll probably, now knowing what you said and your argument behind it, I probably would say yellow.
I think I'm yellow too. I can hear both sides. I got both sides to the coin. It makes sense to me, but
so it depends on I would say a couple different factors. A, is there usually one person who is overly in charge of the finances, even if you're jointly coming together, you both will agree? Is there someone who takes charge of that? Just to give them a heads up, I think would be appropriate.
Agreed.
Because if, like, just say like, oh, we've gone over the budget once a month, and that's all I really look into it. I know what my budget for food is and all this, and the air conditioning just went bye-bye, and I called the repairman, and it's $500. So it's something that has to be fixed. I'm fixing it, you know? Like I have, right? But like you said, if I'm not the one writing all the checks, then maybe I don't know that there's a check out there that's going to bounce because of it.
Yeah.
I think it all depends on your budget, really. I think probably at all points in the budget, like for you were saying like, oh, if you spend 150, 500, maybe your budget is so that maybe you don't need to say anything else, but maybe a $1,500 purchase would blow your budget, you know?
Yeah.
Like every different level, there's different people. Like if you're on a poor family, $20, you may have to give me a heads up with $20, you know, because that could be life or death.
Yeah, it depends on, it's less about budget. It's more about, I think more about who manages the money and how your budget is set up, because it's not like actual finances on any given basis. Like I just wrote a check to the IRS the other day for $5,600, something like that. I didn't ask anybody for permission to do that. Like the bill needed to be paid. I didn't buy anything with it. Like that's done. And so I'm not giving anybody a heads up with things that need to happen, that if I manage the money, I know what needs to go where. But again, it goes back to like, who does that?
I think Heath said this is one that can be easily persuaded based on previous relationships. And I think a lot of this stuff we talked about, previous relationships, previous traumas, can definitely, we saw it with Sarah earlier, saying that nobody's ever going to not have, her money is going to be her money for the rest of her life because of prior experiences. So prior experiences shape how we go forward, and that's the big thing that you have to account for in relationships, whether dating or married.
Yep.
Agreed.
Supporting your partner's side hustle, even if it hasn't made money yet.
Especially if it hasn't made money yet. Green flag.
Green flag.
100% green flag.
And the reason why I say green flag is because I know this. My mom's an entrepreneur, and I've read a few things. When you open up a business, it takes 3 years for your business to take off and finally make some money. So if you have the support of your significant other, they don't feel so alone in trying to make this happen, whatever the venture is. And it actually makes your significant other feel special, makes them feel powerful, makes them feel like they're not wasting their time just because you support them, whatever endeavor it is.
So here's the scenario. What if it's not a side hustle? What if it's the main hustle? But what if you knew before getting married that that was that person's goal?
I would say we would have a discussion about it and see where they're at in the process. I wouldn't just completely say yes or completely say no. I would need to know certain things that will, like, what's their business plan? How long they've been doing it? What's the goal? What are the benchmarks that you're trying to hit? Things of that nature.
Yeah, I'm such a business person that if you've been fumbling and if you've been fumbling around for X amount of years and it's still not making money, and I need you to help in order to get bills paid, then there's a problem, like there's a gap there. But if I knew that this was your main hustle and therefore knew that I could cover the finances and support you in doing that, I would probably want to help revise the business plan. Because if we've been doing this as the main hustle and not making money, something's got to change. But that's just the way my brain works.
See, I have a totally different perspective. And this definitely is personal to me because before I got married, I was very blunt and honest with my first wife. I was like, my goal is to be inner city youth pastor, and that we don't make much money. So we will be poor. We will be struggling. If you choose to be with me, this is where I'm going. This is where I am heading. And I was told I'm on board with you.
Okay.
And then after we got married, I'm no longer on board with you.
Sure.
You need to make money. That's why, for me, that's if that is discussed and that is talked about, and that's like, this is, you had that choice to get in. You had that choice. Like, I didn't wait. I didn't wait till we were married and throw that on you. I said this was where I was going. You had the choice not to go with me. I didn't force you with me. Sorry, there's real trauma here with this one.
No, that's okay. I was just waiting for you to finish. I think that it's a little different because it's different if, listen, being a youth pastor isn't really a side hustle. Okay. So the reason that your situation is a little bit different is because you laid it out and said this career path that I feel called to and is like what I'm going to do doesn't make money. We're going to struggle financially. We're going to figure it out together if we like put our heads together and we're in it together. But like, this is what I'm going to do. And I want to make sure you're okay with that. Right. But like, side hustle, I think I have a main job and I'm doing other things on the side with the attempt to develop them to financial independence. And so if we're talking about side hustle or a side hustle that's like you said, you gave the variable example where you said it's actually the main hustle. That's where now we need to start looking at business plans. So is this because the side hustle or whatever it is that you do fundamentally doesn't make that much money, or is it because the business plan is poorly developed? Because those are two different issues.
Right. Inner city churches don't have the resources to
right,
pay
exactly.
So. Well, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because even with our pastor at my church, and I go to, I guess some would consider a mega church because it's the biggest church in Chicago, but our pastor doesn't receive a salary. So how they do, what they do with their family, and I have no idea, but I would assume that him and the first lady had this conversation long before they got married.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my point is that I think you should support your partner. If that's where they're passionate at, you should support them. Now, if it's a side hustle, yeah, you ain't giving up your side hustle until you can afford to give up your side hustle, to give up your main hustle. Like, that's, but at the same time, I don't think you should be like, well, why are you spending all that time working on your side hustle? I want you spending time with me. I think you should be behind them so that they can help them accomplish that side hustle and becoming their main hustle quicker than not, because that is bringing them joy, and they want you and they want the joy of their career. Like, the worst thing I think people do is work in jobs that they hate and can't stand. I think there's a lot of miserable people because they don't do what they're passionate about.
I agree with that, and I really want to backtrack to what you just said a few seconds ago. If you buy into your spouse or your significant other's business and you want them to spend more time with you, and like you said, you both do it together, then it's going to be reciprocated because now your spouse is like, okay, you help me push my dream so we can spend more time together. So because my dream and what I'm doing is working and is flourishing, I want to share it with you. I want to do things with you that we weren't able to do while I was pursuing my dream.
Yeah.
And I think it should go both ways. I mean, listen, I hope you support me in my dream. I'm going to support you in your dream,
Agreed. I agree with that.
What are the other topics? Because I don't think I'm going to have time to get through all 36. So
Right, no, I was just going to go one more, and because I think we have one more in this section and call it.
Okay.
So, complaining about your partner's goals to your parents.
Big red flag.
Shit, I don't have parents. I got to phone a friend for an answer to this question. I don't know.
Well, to people in your life that matter.
Okay, so hold on, John. You're my dad. If I call you and complain, is it a red flag?
I would talk you through stuff. I'm not gonna, you know me, I'm gonna sit there and ask you questions. I'm not gonna just allow you to complain.
Sure. I think that I'm gonna go yellow on this one.
See, the reason I would go red is because whatever happens between you and in the relationship between you and your spouse should remain between you two.
Yep.
And if once you bring a third person in, that can create a whole different situation.
Yeah.
And it can really damage the relationship that you had and also the trust. Because if your significant other knows that you're going to your in-laws about what's going on in the house, then they can't trust you because they're going to say, oh, you're just going to go and tell your in-laws what's going on, this, that, and the third, and it's going to end really badly.
So, I'm at yellow, but I agree 100% with what you said, Marquis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the caveat that I would put on this is that are you going to your parents to get vindication, or are you going for wisdom?
Right.
And how can you be a better supportive spouse? If you're going for wisdom to say, listen, I don't understand. Look, I need somebody to talk this through because maybe you can help me understand because I'm not getting it from her. Or help me see something that I'm not seeing. And you're going with an open mind to really to be changed, to become supportive, then that could be actually a green. Because sometimes it's like we've talked about this in our podcast where somebody tells you something, like your loved one tells you something, and you don't listen to them, right? And then this complete stranger comes and tells you something that your partner's been telling you for ages, and you go, wow, that makes complete sense. And your partner's over there saying, I've only told you that 150 freaking times, but you never listen to me, right? So sometimes you need that outside viewpoint because you're more open to listening to it. If your attitude to go to your parents is for wisdom instead of for vindication, then it can be good. But most of the time, you see it because you want to be vindicated. You want to put down your spouse, or your partner, and that is not okay at all.
Yeah, agreed. Complaining is the specific word in here. I like that he said that because when you say complaining about your partner's career goals, like, here's the thing. I think that everybody needs a safe place that is constructive to vent, because if you don't have that, you start to harbor things, and that's not good either. Should it be your parents? Maybe, maybe not. Like, my parents were not good people to tell anything to in my whole life, but like for people that have healthy parents that have a solid marriage, maybe that is an okay place to do that. I would just say that, does the complaining end on a complaining note, or does it end on like, I need to know how I can better handle this situation? And I think it's the heart position within it that really matters.
I agree with that, but you also got to consider the fact that if they're doing it just for vindication, your in-laws are going to have a slight bias against you because this is their child that you're dealing with. So you got to be careful what you say, and not just with what you say, but how you say it, because tone also sets everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's because I think we have 2. Would be 12. There may be 2 more in this, but I'm not going there. No, yeah, no 2. Yeah. We're right at I believe at the end of the 3rd one. So yeah, I wasn't sure we would get through all 5. We'll
That's
keep
okay. This
them.
is fun. I almost want to continue it elsewhere.
Yeah,
I like
we'll save that for another show. Maybe when his wife's on.
Yes.
Do
that.
But so Marquis, tell us a little bit about yourself. Your episode comes out tomorrow at 9 a.m. So give our audience a little knowledge on who you are and what you're about.
Well, my name is Marquis Williams. I'm from the Windy City of Chicago. I'm a happily married man of almost 4 years. My wife and I have been together for almost 9. We co-host the You Stuck With Me podcast, where we talk about relationships, dating, children, everything that encompasses relationships, marriage. I'm a now 3-time cancer survivor. I'm back in remission, so thank you God for that. My wife, we met in high school. We didn't start dating until we were adults. I just love talking about relationships, marriage, and just helping anyone else who wants to be married or is healing, who wants to be married, or just has questions but don't know where to go. So we try to like pull the curtain back on it, and we actually use our podcast as a therapy session because, in a way, anything that we have gone through or any disagreements that we've had, our listeners get to listen to it in real time. So, in the midst of us discussing it, they're figuring out or listening to different ways how they can approach that certain problem, whatever it is we're talking about. And it's not always about disagreements, but we have like fun conversations talking about date nights, vacation, children, being around other married couples. We just got added to the iHeartRadio family, so you can find us on iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're starting to introduce listening letters to our listeners. So if they want to email us, they can email us at youstuckwithme@gmail.com. USTUCKWITME@gmail.com. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at You Stuck With Me _podcast. If you want to find me personally, you can reach out to me on IG and the app form known as Twitter at mine_1. That is M1NE_1. You can find my wife at Points. That is PO1NTZ. That's Points, PO1NTZ. We just started our newest season of our podcast. Our first episode is going to drop on Wednesday. So if you guys want to check us out, make sure you hit that follow button, rate, review, subscribe, and share. We would love to have you guys listen because we make sure that our topics are fit for everyone as much as we can. And we're also an award-winning podcast. We won an award last year for Best Hosting Duo by the Black Podcast Association. So we love what we do. We're passionate with what we do. We want to help increase marriage statistics because right now, as it stands, marriage for millennials right now is at about 30%, and it's set to hit the teens by 2030. So we wanted to let people know, hey, marriage is definitely worth it when you find your person. You're going to have to kiss a few frogs to get to your person, but when you find your person, it's going to definitely be worth it.
It's definitely a great episode. You're not going to want to miss it. And we got a question. So while you're still on, I want to see if we can address it. Brandon, you said the topic of having 2 or more side gigs. What is your question about that while we're doing it? While we're waiting on him. Go ahead, John.
Well, while we're waiting on him, I just want to say that Marquis, me and Sydney are coming for Best Hosting Duo.
We're looking to repeat, so we accept the challenge. Challenge.
Nah, I love you guys, and
It's a little bit of a different duo. I'm not married to him, okay? He's my dad.
It's okay.
it's more of
They
a.
didn't say what the duo has to be in terms of relationships. So
And Brandon, hopefully you're typing out your question, but we do thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope you've subscribed. For any of you who may be here for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us. We have new podcast episodes come out every Tuesday at 9 a.m. We do the Monday happy hour every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you're subscribed to us.
Thanks to some of our other newbies on here. My friend Robert came in. Brandon is a longtime friend of mine, but he doesn't come on all the time. So Brandon, thank you for being here. I'm curious on what someone should do if they haven't quite figured out what they want to do and their gig continues to evolve to new things. We'll let our guest of honor answer that question first, and then John and I will answer. It looks like he may have froze. Are you with us, Marquis? Oh, he hopped on. We lost him.
He may have frozen.
He's not going to answer first. John's going to answer first.
So I think it's all of these questions, everything comes down to basically communication. I think the important part is for you to constantly communicate with your partner. Whether you're dating, whether you're married or whatever it is. So yeah, I think it has to do with communication. I think if you communicate, you can figure it all out.
Absolutely. Sorry, I lost you guys.
No, that's okay. Did you hear the question, or can you see it on the comments over there?
Let me see.
It says, he said, I'm curious on what someone should do if they haven't quite figured out what they want to do and their gig continues to evolve into new things.
Well, if it evolves into something new and it's beneficial for the relationship, I say go for it. I don't see nothing wrong with that, because sometimes in life you're just going to have to pivot. And we got to make sure that we're flexible. And that's with our gigs, that's with our relationships, just with our lives in general.
Brandon said, it certainly seems trust declines when you're working on your goals.
Okay, that's
Going deeper on that, because why is the trust declining? Are you being honest with her in what you're attributing, or does she feel like you're keeping stuff from her, or that you're constantly changing?
Speaking from a woman's perspective, when something continues to evolve sporadically, that's usually a security issue. So one of the things that men can do in relationships when they have something that continues to evolve is over communicate, but not in a stressful way. Like, especially if you're the sole provider, women don't want to hear that it's going to be financially snug for a while. It's like, hey, I'm going to be changing this. Here's why. Here's the benefits of it. I'll keep you posted on how it works. But it's a level of transparency without creating urgency or like a crisis, for lack of a better word. Because you're not wrong. Trust can decline when you're working on your goals if you don't communicate it properly. And it's usually a symptom of women that have been provided for in their past.
So let me ask you this question, Sydney. So, because for me, like, when going back to my thing, when I couldn't do youth ministry, I basically would go every 5 years and have to do something different because I never found fulfillment in my job. Mm-hmm. I could never find, like, I get bored, I get unfulfilled. As soon as I get unfulfilled, I have no motivation to do work. When I'm motivated, dude, I'll work 20 hours a day. I'll do whatever it takes. But I lose that motivation because I don't have that sense of purpose. I didn't have that sense of purpose in my life. How does someone communicate that? Because women, they want to feel safe. They want to feel secure. They want to feel like the money's going to come in. But dude, if it's killing me, how like we're like there. That's sometimes a fragile point where it's like I don't care if it's killing you. You man up and you do the work. And I think sometimes that's unfair because like if I don't have purpose, I don't have motivation to work. And the show would I assume she would come back and well, I'm your motivation to work.
I'm probably the wrong female to ask about that. And the reason is because I was raised by a single dad that like I learned very early on that my worth was attributed to the money that I brought in, and I do a damn good job at it. So even when I hated the job that I was doing, I mastered this art of being able to run parallel tracks. I was just talking about this the other day. I don't remember the context of it, but it was always if I didn't like a job that I was in, or if I was unhappy doing what I was doing, that I needed to research other opportunities that I felt I might be more happy in. But it was never an option growing up to quit a job before having another job. It just wasn't on the table, even when I wasn't the one responsible for paying the bills. That wasn't an option. We're not quitting anything until we have something else lined up. So knowing that like youth pasturing was the passion, I can think of 10 things off the top of my head that could have created money in the same vein of that passion that would have been less draining than maybe some of the other things that you did in order to bring home money, where you can fulfill the part of the purpose that you need and still be a provider. Because I've done things my whole life that I didn't want to do and literally hated doing just for like, suck it up, bite the bullet. Did it suck? Yeah. Was it the best thing? Maybe not. But did it get the job done? 100%. Would I have it any other way? No, because I wouldn't have learned how to like have that grit or the spine that I do, quite frankly, without that.
Yeah, I agree with sometimes in life we do stuff that we don't want to do, and that's man or woman. But I agree with Sydney. Sometimes we, even though we don't feel fulfilled in what we want to do, we try to find a way to segue that and do something that's aligned with it. So like you said, you want to be a youth pastor, and it was what you were passionate about, but it wasn't bringing money in. Something that you could have segued to help with that is become a public speaker to the youth. And that's another way that you could have been paid to speak to the youth, bring in some money. Right now, I like being a podcaster, and I like what I do in my day job. I'm a real estate appraiser. How can I segue that into something? I can get on another podcast and talk about real estate, what a real estate appraiser does. I mean, people can pay or will pay you for what your specific niche is. Just got to find a way to segue it.
Yeah, listen, I've never been. Well, there was one point in my life where I was without a job, but that was
it's not a personal attack, because I'm also not a proponent of like allowing your mental health to deteriorate in order to make somebody else happy. So like, don't hear that's what I'm saying when I say that, because I'm not. I'm just saying that money is everywhere, quite literally. And if somebody wants it, you can print it. I mean, it's that stupid. It's just a matter of knowing the right questions to ask, how to put that together, how to orchestrate it, and how to make it something that you're also passionate about in general. Does it happen overnight? No, not always, but the opportunity is everywhere. So is it actually the fact that you're unhappy in the relationship, or is it actually the fact that you don't know how to make money?
Yeah, no, and for me, like I never was with that. Like I always had another job before. Usually, I would leave a job most 90% of the time, and I did everything from I was a casino dealer. I was a technician. I was security. I was valet. I'd find a job. I always was doing something. I continued to work hard, and I've recently been plagued by car issues. So now I'm working on that while working with customer in window washing. But I'm finding work doing janitorial work has been lucrative along with my full-time job. I've also been asked to work on other vehicles as well to help bring in more money to get things fixed and save money. I'm always honest with my wife about interests and goals, but I think it's the quick decisions that she struggles with in me.
This is Brandon is like me in the sense that like the ADHD is real. But here's the thing, and this is what women often don't understand. Money moves for those who move. That means whoever knows where it is and implements the fastest will get it, and those who don't will lose the opportunity. So one of the superpowers behind ADHD, or people that are not afraid to implement, is the fact that money will come to them long before it comes to the people that have to sit and stew on it. Now, there's a balance there. It doesn't mean go pull out a loan and open a business with something you know nothing about, but there is something to be said for those who implement fast and figure out the details later.
My question to him is, can he integrate her into those quick decisions to make her feel more a part of it?
Absolutely. I think the way that you do that is you go ahead, you see something that you want to do, but you know that your wife or your significant other is going to have a hard time adjusting to it because it's such a quick decision. But if you pitch it like it's something that can help both of you grow and both of you guys reach your goals simultaneously, I think it'll be easier to understand and easier to accept.
One of the things that I have couples do when I'm putting together budgets or business plans of this capacity, and this is a really, really common thing that comes up, is an either or question. Sometimes that means that there's two options and they're both viable, and you present those to your partner and allow them to have input on the pros and cons. Some of them, there is only one option, and you allow them to decide if they want to be involved or if they want you to take it on. And so that way it's not overwhelming where the person doesn't have to feel like they have to have all the information. Some of our partners are too analytical to get involved in stuff like that, and it will actually slow the process and hurt the process, specifically in business growth. But if you come to them and say, hey, I've got some things that I'm going to be implementing, whatever it is, if I had a specific example, I'd use it like window washing. Hey, I'm going to spend an extra 5 hours a week doing business to business prospecting so that I can get more clients for this window washing business. Is that something that you want to do together, or do you just want me to take that time out of my week and do that so you can do your own thing? And now I haven't given you an option to say, no, I've told you what I'm going to be doing, but I've allowed you to feel it like yes, you can come and do it with me and we can make it into a date or something fun, or you can choose to go get your nails done. I don't care.
And I'm gonna give a example how we did that. So prior to us getting married, we knew what we had to do to pay for our own wedding. And the reason why we wanted to do it is because we didn't want anyone to tell us what we could and could not have at our own wedding. That was our overall goal. So what we did is we came together and said, okay, we would like what we like for our for our wedding, and just breaking down the ins and outs of it. And the way we did it, we actually ended up turning this into a date. So we used to both drive for Uber. So we would do the food pickup, and she would drive, and then I would drive. We would do on the same day. We would do weekends just to reach our goal. But the most important fact is that we made it important. We made each other feel like we were important. It was a joint goal that we wanted to reach for each other, and it was our special day. And I always look back on those days with fond memories, because not only was it for us trying to make our wedding come true, but we also had some funny and laughable memories along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely second that. My daughter came up and lived with me for a year, and I did DoorDash for a little bit, and it was something I could do with her. I'd go in and get the food out of the stores. She'd run it up to the customers,
Mm-hmm.
And we would jam out to the radio and different stuff and just spend quality time in the car together. And, I did Uber, but I would do that just to spend time with her, just so that I could spend time and we could be doing something and I could still be making money. So having people, there are creative ways you can definitely make people feel part of your life.
And it also helped that periodically we would get free food.
I never had that happen, but
it used to happen more times than we would initially think. We would drive late at night. Someone would place an order. We go and try to drop off the order. Nobody comes to the door. We call them. Nobody answers the phone. It's like, okay, what do we do? We call them and they would say, hey, nobody takes the food, and it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. Perhaps my approach in discussions with her is really the issue. Be open. Why don't you sit down and have a conversation and say, I see that you're struggling. what can I do to make you feel more a part of it? And see what she says. And listen to her. Listen to her. Don't try to, as we said before, don't try to solve the issue right there. Just listen to her. And I would say when you go and you have that conversation with her, write down somewhere, do not solve the problem. Like that, this time that you go and talk to her, you don't want to solve the problem. You just want her to feel hurt, because that may solve the issue even with you out having to do anything. So just listen to her. Listen to her, go back, take what she says, and really see how you can serve your wife in being that to her. And I bet you that conversation you have, if you don't try to solve it for her that time, will make a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you said that about being of service, because you got to be of service to your significant other. And as long as you really sit down, like John said, listen to what she says and not try to solve the issue, both of you are going to come up with the answer. And more times than not, it's usually the same answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't make excuses. Don't defend yourself. Listen to her. Let her speak. Let her express to you how she's feeling. Take notes and tell her at the end of the conversation, this is what I'm hearing from you. This is what you want from me. This is what you need from me. And this is what you desire from me. So that she knows that you heard her. Because that's the first part. She wants to feel heard. And if you're religious, go and pray about it. Pray together about it. And allow God to maybe give you the answer. If you're not religious, just go back and dwell on it. Take time. Think about it. And then make an appointment.
I like how you went from pray to dwell. You said if you're religious, pray about it. And then you were like, or dwell. Like, that was your...
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, you need to sit back and focus on it.
He is. So I know him well enough that I can say that. But it was just the hard pivot in your brain that was really... Pray about it or dwell. I was like, just, sit in the mud puddle. I can't get you out, but you can sit in it.
I don't have experience in the other part of it, so.
And on that note, I've got to go make my kids dinner. So I'm going to let you guys wrap up because you can finish with the promotion. But Marquis, it was great to see you. Really excited for your episode to launch.
Oh, likewise. Great to see you guys. And I can't wait to get you guys on our podcast because you guys definitely have a lot to talk about.
Oh,
excited
yeah.
to do it.
We're excited. Very, very excited.
I will talk to you gentlemen later.
Have a good night. So, again, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. Our goal is 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So please help us get our YouTube to 1,000 subscribers. We're just under 200 right now. I know I told you last week we were just under 100. Listen, please help us get to 1,000. It'll help us out. It'll help us get on the road to monetizing. We put a lot of time, effort. I make up these games. I create slides. That all takes time. It all takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. I do this because I want to have a really cool program on Monday nights to hang out with you guys, talk with you guys, and showcase our guests that we have for you to listen to Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. So please, if you're not on the YouTube, please go to the Common Ground Project USA on YouTube. Please give us a subscribe, follow, share it, please. We appreciate all of it. Thank you, Marquis, for being our special guest. His episode comes out tomorrow at 9 a.m. You can find it at the Common Ground Project USA on YouTube, the Common Ground Podcast on Spotify and Apple.
Thanks for
having
Sydney.
Me. What was that?
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. And thank you guys, because you make this possible. This was supposed to stop at an hour, but your comments, your questions, your interaction kept it going longer. So we appreciate you. We thank you. Thank you to Robert. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to Brandon. Thank you to Braden. Thank you to Heath. Am I missing anybody? I think I got everybody. Unquiet Healing. Thank you. So, and thank you for everybody who didn't comment but was watching, who was listening. We appreciate you. We thank you. As always, when you take the time to listen to somebody's story, it gives you the opportunity to find common ground. Thank you to our guest, Marquis, and for Sydney and myself. It has been our pleasure being your host, and you have been watching the Monday Happy Hour. God bless and good night.